All right, Heidi. Heidi is an advocate for progressive delivery, organizational transformation, technical communication, and marketing you hate slightly less. She is a nerd about industrial psychology and patterns of progress. One of her favorite hobbies is talking to developers about things that they already knew but had never thought of that way before. She sews all of her conference dresses, so she's making sure that there's a pocket for the microphone. I am so excited to give you our keynote closing speaker today, Heidi Waterhouse. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you. Give me the mic. All right, thank you all. All right, so you stuck through the whole day. I'm very proud of you. Good job. I know, you're sleepy. I'm going to terrorize you for a bit, so that'll be fun. So, consider, it is a time of turmoil. National politics balance on a knife's edge, and the Supreme Court is stepping in, and nobody knows how it's going to end up. But we do know that a lot of people, including our neighbors, are very angry. It's really scary. The tech industry has spent the last 5 years in an existential battle with an oppressive force. And we just feel like we've gotten our hands on it and we're starting to get out of it. And then the layoff notices start coming. And coming, and coming, and coming. And all of a sudden you realize that you don't know if you're going to have your job next year, and you don't know if you can propose because you don't know if you're going to have any money to live on, and your parents are just making like sad, pitiful little noises, which is not very helpful. So what are you going to do, right? Unemployment is going up, and it's not great. This chart you do not want to see go up and to the right. This is unemployment. This is suck. And, nope, do it. And this song, let's see if it'll play. You gonna play? It says no. This song is The Real Slim Shady, and it is on the top 50 list. The year is 2000. And all the exciting turn of the millennium, totally dorky glasses that we were wearing has suddenly started to wear off. And it's turning to dust and ashes around us. We'd gotten through Y2K. We'd spent 5 years in this enormous frantic rush that was not dissimilar from the COVID surge of how the hell do I get everybody on Zoom at once, to make sure that our computers and our planes kept running and didn't fall out of the sky. It was important. And then the people who told us that our work was important said it wasn't important anymore. That crowd of angry people, they were storming the elections office in Broward County in Bush v. Gore. The recession graph, that was 2001. That feeling like you have like everything is not the adulthood you expected or were promised, yeah. We were feeling that 25 years ago. I know. I look way too young to know that, but literally, I could be your mother, for the most part. So let's talk about our feelings about this, because I want to say it's not fair. Like, we really wanted better than this for you. So the first thing is denial. Like, it's not going to be that bad. It's not going to last that long. It's a blip. It'll be fine. Denial is a normal stage. Next is anger. God damn it. Is this what I went to school for? Is this what I've been hustling for? To be one of 4,000 applicants? What the hell? And then there's bargaining. Like, maybe if I optimize everything just right and I spend 4 hours a day on LinkedIn, maybe I could get a job. It's bargaining. Like, it might help and it might not, but it's a grief response and not necessarily a rational response. And then there's depression. And this involves, for me, a lot of weed gummies and video games. I played a lot of video games. And then we have to get to the point where we do acceptance. Like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that we screwed up, and this is the world that you're walking out into. but it's all we've got to give you. And so let me tell you what we've learned. I'm talking to you about this because of my knowings. Like I said, I am old, and I also use very old memes, which I enjoy finding the other old people in the audience because they laugh when I say because of my knowings. I appreciate that. So I graduated from college in 1999, and I got an awesome tech job, and I was working for this company that is doing a thing that we would now call vibe databasing. It was pretty cool, honestly, like being able to write queries in a non-SQL-y way. And there was a standee of Austin Powers in the front entry, and we took our meetings in beanbags, and we were doing XP, which is just before Agile. Yeah, it's a very specific moment in time. And then it all fell apart. And then it kept falling apart. And politics were terrible, and 9/11 happened, and everything was just really rough for a couple years. So let's start with some anytime advice. This is advice that I would give to this audience pretty much at any kind of economic situation. Keep records. I'm saying keep snapshots of your sites, clippings and samples, make a spreadsheet of all the people, all the companies you've worked for right now, when it's only like 4 things long, because someone will ask for it for a background check, for a credit check, for housing. Someday you will want this, and you don't want to have to make your ex-girlfriend drive past the house to find out exactly which number it was. Super awkward. So keep these things because it's good to have them. Because I literally do not remember the name of the company that was doing Vibe databases. It was a long time ago. It's a long time ago. I don't remember. I have to look it up every time. I don't have the first website I built, which is a pity because it was hot. It had frames. Yeah. By hand. We had to like carve it out of text with our teeth. That's how we used to do HTML. And I think that having these things and having a habit for retaining them is just going to do you a ton of good. Document your value. I gave a talk on this a few years ago, and I went to Times Square, and I bought a Tigger, and then the Tigger and I sang along, and so you can just be grateful you're not getting that. But why does the company need you in particular? Are you sure they know that? This is a great thing to put in your annoying weekly reports. Like, not only did I fix this bug, but I fixed this bug which touches 14% of the code base. I did this thing which diverts some volume of calls. Like, whatever it is, put it in there and then CC yourself. Because that's the lowest friction way to do it. We already talked about this. Like, we have said this several times at this conference. If you have a lot of money, no, you don't. Grad school is the most expensive safe room you could go for. If you have a definite plan, if you want to be a teacher or a nurse or, God help you, a lawyer, go ahead and take on that student debt. But if you don't, do not hide in grad school. It is too expensive for that. Get a job, get a boring job, get a terrible job, but at least you will be making money instead of like bleeding it. Sorry, grad school used to be a thing you could do for practically free, but we fucked that up too. All right, here's the advice that I would give when times are bad. This is a quote from Cicero, and he says, "Times are bad, children no longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book." I feel you, Cicero. When you're thinking about looking for a job, think sideways. It's not straightforward. It's not going to be the obvious, you follow an internship, you get out, you work for them, it's just easy. We're not going to do that right now. Think about flyover jobs. I talk some about flyover developers or dark matter developers. These are people who work in companies that you do not think are technology companies. Did you know that Cargill, who makes seeds, and seed adjacent farm things, has a 200-person internal IT security group. That's like 200 people just in security, which implies the size of their technical organization is very large. Now, I don't think you can work for Cargill and live in New York, but we're going to talk about that because I love New York. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's exciting. There are a lot of people here, and there are a lot of people here. And maybe your skills will be a little shinier, a little more exciting if you take them to cities like Des Moines, Indianapolis. Akron has a surprisingly vibrant medtech scene. I mean, it's not surprising. They're right next to the Cleveland Clinic. But Rochester, Minnesota. I'm from Minneapolis. Turns out there's a ton of people who work in technology in Minneapolis. So when you're looking, don't limit yourselves to like New York, London, and San Francisco. There's more technology out there, I promise. So think about that. And think about working for public utilities. A lot of the cohort that is working in public utilities now is getting ready to retire. And it's really important that the IT machines that maintain how much bleach goes in your water continue to run correctly. And also get patched against security vulnerabilities. I'd really like it if we added a little more sophisticated security on our infrastructure. Go get that job, please. Come on. Think about titles that aren't what you expect. Database administrator is not a title that is ever going to go away. I really believe that because it turns out that AI, it needs something under it. And it's not just unsorted data, it's databases. Installation IT. Somebody is running all of the card readers that let us come in with our phones remotely, right? They never met us, we never met them, but somebody is running those card readers. Think about that kind of job. It's sort of hybrid, it's got a lot of like interesting work on one thing one day, work on another thing the next day. Those are jobs that are available. And you should, consider whether that would be interesting. Telephony is like reach out and touch someone is not a thing any of you will recognize, but it's important to be able to make phone calls and do wireless and connect to the world. Integrations. We often think of these as toys. Integrations are like any code that sticks two things together. When I was working at LaunchDarkly, there was somebody who had made a LaunchDarkly integration into Roblox. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why did you make an A/B testing framework? Why did you plug that into Roblox? But it was super useful for me as a DevRel because I could use it to do Robloxy things, which is a great demo to say like, oh, look, builds this way, builds that way. It was super useful, and I shouted him out for years because he had built this one little integration. Those are great things to build, and it's a great kind of skill to cultivate because there's also all of these hybrid positions that use coding that are not coding jobs. My favorite salesperson ever said he was strictly a mid coder. He's strictly a mid developer, but as a sales guy, he was as a god. He was so good because he could do sales engineering on his own. You could send him out, and he would whip something up, and it would impress the customer, and we would get the sale. And he didn't need to be great. He didn't need to make production-grade code. He just needed to be better than the rest of the salespeople. I mean, Startup culture is like Wile E. Coyote. It is running on thin air, and it works fine until someone looks down and says, hey, the interest rate isn't 0 anymore, and we'd like to know what you're doing with our money. At that point, Wile E. Coyote holds up a little sign and goes, oh shit. I mean, he doesn't, but he does, and crashes to the ground. Don't be Wile E. Coyote. I know, they're the coolest jobs, and they have the best perks, and even now, they seem pretty awesome. But I'm telling you, they are very ephemeral. What if, instead, you sold rockets to dumbasses? that would be a better job because there are more dumbasses out there than there are, roadrunners. Bootstrapping. When you're interviewing for a job, when you're considering a company to work for, ask them, does the company make any money? Do they make any money at all? And if so, what percentage of the money they make compared to the money they spend? Like, yeah, OpenAI is making money, it's true. I'm just saying it's not as much as they're spending, and it's a real problem. So when you're looking for a job, ask yourself how long a company can afford to stay solvent. Similarly, is what you're doing something that can make money? Please do not monetize your hobbies. That way leads to burnout and sadness. I'm not saying monetize your hobbies. I'm saying, is there something that you're doing that could be monetizable in a sustainable way that is not your crafting? Because don't do it. Wedding photography, like, where's our photographers? Do you do wedding photography? No, because you get to do this. It's better. Wedding photography is a real rough one. Volunteer and help each other. So you're all here because Shai and his organizing team have been busting their ass for over a year to make it happen. And they're doing it because they care about this audience. But also, they're doing it because they have created a network that sustains this. And creating a network like the Times panel that we watched, creating a network is good practice, and it's good networking, and it's real. It's a real connection to real humans instead of like this artificial networking, I'm going to put a dot on my badge and we're all going to circulate awkwardly asking about each other's JavaScript skills. That is networking, but it's not nearly as organic as like, oh my gosh, I forgot the stickers, will you please go get some name tags? It's real. And working in a team, I regret to tell you, is actually the rest of your lives. As much as you hated it in school, it's actually better when you're actually working towards something and people aren't trying to teach you how to work in a team, they're just going to assume that you know how. Keep building things. Don't let your skills atrophy. Do game jams, do volunteer projects, build your own website, and this is key, after you have built your hand-carved Hugo website with full capacity for blogging, you must blog on it. You must post something on it, I'm saying this to myself, at least once a month, because that keeps it fresh, and then you find out when it's broken. Build useful integrations, build silly integrations, keep building things because it's cool. All right, that is normal conditions, slightly rough conditions. We are in the it's real bad fam conditions. I'm sorry. I promised Shai I would cheer you up at the end of this, and I'm not doing well so far. I hope this is stupid and paranoid, and like the layoff talk, I hope you don't need it or feel like it's relevant. But let's see. All experience counts. Do not feel bad because you have a job that makes money. Even if it's a little bit of money, even if it's a barista job. Do you know who knows the most about point-of-sale systems? I assure you, it is not the people from Toast. They sell it, but so few of them have used it in anger that they do not understand what happens to a POS terminal. And that is really what they're called. I'm sorry, they're just POS terminals. And they're like, what do you mean you dropped a smoothie on it? It's like, yeah, it's Tuesday. 4 people dropped smoothies on it. That's how it goes. So all of these jobs that feel stupid and useless and pointless and dead end to you are not if you pay attention. If you stay curious about it. If you say to yourself, how does this connect? And what does this connect to? What makes this go, and how do I make it go better? And can I learn about how to program that? And can I be like the one expert who knows how to change the frickin' paper in the cash register? which evidently we still have here. It's pretty cool. Retail counts, service jobs count, manual labor counts. It's all going to making you a uniquely experienced person. Just pay attention. It won't last forever. Keep your job, even with return to office. Keep it until you have the next thing, unless it's really genuinely breaking you. And by breaking you, I mean you have to figure out your family circumstances. I'm a sole breadwinner, so my personal, oh, holy shit, I need to get out of here, is crying more than 1 day a week. That's really a lot of crying. That's really an unacceptably high level of stress if you have better options. But you need to know you have better options. So when you start crying at work and it doesn't seem like it's going to change, start looking. Because it's probably not going to get better. It probably means you have a boss that you do not get along with and you have to go. It's just how it is. Pick your battles. Or sometimes we say this, keep your powder dry. Is inclusive language in our examples important? Yeah. We even have a bunch of science to show that it is better for everybody if we don't always say, Bob and Alice are doing cryptography. Sometimes we need Hakeem to do cryptography too, right? We know that, but maybe this is not the year, the month to argue with anyone about that. And I feel shitty telling you this because I want you to go out there and make the companies where you work better. But you're going to need to pick your battles. It's best to decide what's important to you and concentrate on that. Maybe you give up a little bit of personal expression. You wear a shirt that covers your tattoos, you put spacers in your piercings, whatever weird-ass thing your old boss wants you to do. Maybe it's not the time to be talking about your neurodivergence at work. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. We have come so far. But maybe it is safer if you don't do that. Maybe it's not the time to bring your whole self to work. Maybe we leave some of it in the work bag. I'm not full severance here, but by the way, that's a deeply traumatic show if you've been working for a while. So if your parents do not want to watch it with you, it's because they have trauma. It doesn't mean you have to give up on your values. You do these things so that you can help someone with their visa papers, or support a cause that you believe in, or can afford to support your family. I'm sorry, that's the trade-off. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring your principles, just that it may get hard. Chris talked at the beginning and mentioned moral injury, and it's a real thing, and it's a real hazard at all points in your career. And I don't know how to tell any one of you to navigate the, do I work for somebody who is evil by my standards, or do I not work? How much do I need that health insurance? Also, everybody has this in their union organizing things. Do not organize on your work Slack or your Discord or any place that they can find it. If the company owns that place, do not try and organize there. Don't use your wallet name for political activity. Just don't. Just use a pseudonym. It can be tied back to you, but that extra layer is a little bit of safety for you. This is not an OPSEC talk, but it really tried to be, and I've reined it back in because it's late and we want to go home. Okay, I'm going to ask you all to stand up and shake your hands like this. I know. All right, because I have just stressed you out, and you need to complete the stress cycle. All right, you feel better? Feel a little better? Take a deep breath. Okay, you can sit back down. Completing the stress cycle is an important part of feeling stress. If you don't do something physical to help discharge all of the cortisol that we're bringing up, it's just going to like poison you, basically. And so there's a ton of science out there on what the stress cycle is and how to complete it. I learned about it from the Feminist Survival Project, which was a great podcast. Amazing, so good. But remember that you have to maintain the system that you were running your OS on, right? You just have to maintain it. So remember the graphic I showed you earlier where the line goes up and to the right and it was real bad? Yeah, so that was just a clip. That's 2001, that's 2008, that's COVID. You notice what happens? It comes back down again. Good times will come again. It's going to get better. I don't know when, but odds are probably in 5 years this will seem like a dumb talk. Give or take. Bad times are also going to come again. You will be a middle-aged parent and there will be waves of layoffs going around. You'll be like, what do you mean? We already did this. We already did this. I already did my recession for a lifetime. Remember, I graduated in 99. I expect 2 more before I retire. And I'd really love to get out by 2038. You all know why? Who knows why I want to retire by 2038? Yeah. It is the 32-bit thing. There's all the Linux machines are going to have like the worst Y2K ever. So it's going to happen again. Tech is a community. It is not computers. It's the people. It's the people you're sitting in the room with. It's the people you talk to every day. It's the people who build something cool. It's the people you play games with. It's the people. And if you remember that, then you remember to value them. And that's really important. I'm so glad we got some real union talks. I've been saying since unfashionably early in the 2017 that we should start unionizing while times were good. Yeah, that would have been smart, but we didn't. Collective action is like carrying an umbrella. It seems like something you don't need when it's sunny out, but if you have it in your bag, you can pull it out when it's rainy. In the same way, we are all sort of buying rain ponchos right now because it's raining, and we should have been carrying an umbrella. So when it stops raining, remember to carry an umbrella. Remember that the collective of our labor is more important than any single employer. And finally, you have value. You matter. You are important and unique and special, and it's so easy to forget that. It's so easy to feel like you are isolated and alone and you're the only one who is dumb enough to be having this problem. And if you had just studied harder, and if you had just done better, and if you had just hustled more, it would be okay. That's not it, friends. It's not you. It's not personal, and it doesn't have anything to say about your value. I love you all, and I hope you have a good day. All right, don't forget to pick up your trash. Yeah, and I'm going to be back at the sticker table. Oh, and I have a book coming out. Yeah, so I have one book that I already wrote called Tech Writing for Docs for Developers, Tech Writing for Engineers, which is, oh God, my manager is making me write documentation, what do? And the new one coming out is called Progressive Delivery, and it's coming out in November, and you can pre-order it.
Thank you so much, Heidi. Let's have another round of applause for Heidi.